Dear students, in the previous lecture, we proved that a convergent sequence of non-negative real numbers converges to a non-negative real number. Similarly, we are going to prove that a convergent sequence of non-positive real numbers converges to a non-positive real number. So can you guess the statement? Let me make suitable changes in the statement and then we will make few changes in the proof to obtain the desired result. If Sn is a sequence of non-positive, what do you mean by non-positive? Not positive, that is either negative or 0. So Sn is less equal to 0 of real numbers and its converges to L, its limit is L, then L is less equal to 0. Then L is less equal to 0. A convergent sequence, in words we could describe this statement as a convergent sequence of non-positive real numbers converges to a non-positive real number. A non-positive real number. As now proof, so in proof we will make suitable changes. As Sn n is equal to 1 to infinity is a sequence of non-positive real numbers, non-positive real numbers, Sn is less equal to 0 for all n belongs to I. The proof is on similar lines. It is again by contradiction. So suppose on contrary that L is not non-positive, means it is positive, that is it is greater than 0 and L is greater than 0. Take epsilon is equal to, in this case we will take epsilon as L by 2, which is going to be positive because L is positive. Since limit of Sn is L, by definition of limit of a sequence, there is some n in the set I of positive integers such that whenever n is greater or equal to n, distance between Sn and L is less than epsilon. So in particular, for n is equal to n, this property will get satisfied. Now in this case, value of epsilon is L by 2. So here we will make suitable changes. L minus L by 2 and this will become L plus L by 2. So we will have L by 2 is less than Sn is less than 3L by 2. As in the earlier case, we will keep only the desired part. So this is desired part, L by 2 is positive. So I'll keep only this part, L by 2 is less than Sn. This implies that Sn is positive since L is positive. This contradicts first because in first we have mentioned that Sn is not positive, it is less equal to 0. Hence our assumption must be wrong, that is hence L must be less equal to 0. So on similar lines we have obtained the result that a convergent sequence of non-positive real numbers converges to a non-positive real number. Now next theorem. If limit of a sequence exists, then it is unique. In other words, a convergent sequence of real numbers cannot converge to two distinct real numbers. So if Sn is a sequence of real numbers, if Sn is equal to 1 to infinity is a sequence of real numbers and limit Sn as n tends to infinity is equal to L. Also, limit of Sn as n tends to infinity is equal to M, then L is equal to M. Proof. Proof is by contradiction. Before we write the proof, let me describe the statement in words as well. A convergent sequence of real numbers, a convergent sequence of real numbers has unique limit. What is convergent sequence? A sequence having finite limit, whose limit exists finitely. Proof. So proof is by contradiction. Suppose on contrary that these two limits are distinct. Suppose on contrary that L is not equal to M. L is not equal to M. Then we can definitely say that mod M minus L cannot be 0, because if it is 0, then M will be equal to L. So it is definitely a positive real number. Mod or absolute value is always non-negative, and if M and L are distinct, then this is going to be positive. Take epsilon is equal to mod M minus L by 2. Take epsilon is equal to mod M minus L by 2. As limit of Sn n tends to infinity is equal to L and limit of Tn as n tends to infinity is equal to M, there are positive integers, there are positive integers n1 and n2 such that n1 and n2 such that n is greater equal to n1 implies that distance between Sn and L is less than epsilon. Say this is first statement. and if n is greater or equal to n2, then distance between Sn and m is less than epsilon. This is second statement. Now try to understand the clear meaning of first and second statement. These are conditional statements. P implies Q. If P is true, then Q is true. So what it means, if n is greater or equal to n1, then this statement is true. So n is greater or equal to n1 means what? N is greater or equal to n1 means that this n can assume the value n1, n1 plus 1, n1 plus 2 and so on. Similarly, n is greater or equal to n2 means that n can assume the value n2, n2 plus 1, n2 plus 2 and so on. However, it cannot assume the value less than n1, say for example n1 minus 1 or n2 minus 4. These values n cannot assume. So say, for example, let us say n1 is 100 and say n2 is 200. So which values n can assume? In first case, it can take value 100, 101, 102 and so on. And in second case, it can take the value say 200, 201, 202 and so on. Observe that this is going to be here also. So 200, 201, 202 will appear here, but converse is not true. 100 is not going to come here. Okay. So if I want both of these statements to hold simultaneously, which value of n should I select? I may select 200 or I may select any value greater or equal to 200. I may select 300 as well, because it is going to appear here as well as here, 300 for example. So one common technique which we use in real analysis for convergent sequences is that we take maximum of n1 and n2. You remember this technique. If we have these types of statements and we want that both statements to be satisfied simultaneously, then we have to take maximum of n1 and n2. So let us take capital N as maximum of n1 and n2 so that both of these statements will hold simultaneously. Take n is equal to maximum of n1 and n2. Then from first and second we can write that n is greater or equal to n implies that mod Sn minus L and mod Sn minus L is less than epsilon, as well as mod Sn minus M is less than epsilon. Okay, so which values n can assume then? N can take n can take value n plus 1, n plus 2, all positive integers onwards n can assume. Okay, so in particular I can assign value n equal to n and write the conclusion. In particular, for n is equal to n, you could write mod Sn minus L is less than epsilon and mod Sn minus M is less than epsilon. Say this is third statement. I have simply given one particular value n. You could write n plus 1 as well, n plus 2, that won't make any difference. So sorry, here I should write Sn, capital S. Okay. Now we are in a position to obtain a contradiction. So consider mod m minus L. To obtain contradiction, consider the argument which we are writing, mod m minus L. This I could write as add and subtract Sn. So m minus Sn plus Sn minus L. Use triangle inequality for these two. What is triangle inequality? Mod of x plus y is always less equal to mod x plus mod y. So if you want, I'll put here, since mod of x plus y is always less equal to mod x plus mod y. This is equal to, I could write, mod m Sn minus m plus mod Sn minus L. Why is it? Since mod of x minus y is always equal to mod of y minus x. Even from metric spaces you know that distance is symmetric. So this is nothing but Euclidean distance between 2 points or two real numbers. So it is mod Sn minus m. Now we can use the statement, the third statement. Referring to this third statement, we could write that both are less than epsilon. So this is less than epsilon plus epsilon, which is equal to mod m minus L by 2 plus mod m minus L by 2, and this equals to what? Why is it? Recall that we have selected epsilon as mod m minus L by 2. So this is nothing but mod m minus L. So see, what I have done is this, 10 is equal to 10 I have written, for example, and this is less than or equal to say 10 plus 10. This is strictly less than say 20 plus 20, and this is equal to 40. So I hope you understand this very simple fact. Something like this I have done here, equal to, less equal to, strictly less than. So even if at one point we are having strictly less than, so I could write that 10 is strictly less than 40. So similar type of argument we are having. So what we can say, mod m minus L is strictly less than mod m minus L. This is just an example which I have given to understand this sequence of equalities and inequalities. Okay, so even if we have strict inequality at one point, we can write that 10 is strictly less than 40 in this case. So with reference to this, I could write mod m minus L is strictly less than mod m minus L. So mod m minus L is strictly less than mod m minus L, that is 1 is less than 1, and this is obviously a contradiction. This is a contradiction, hence our assumption was wrong. What was our assumption? That m is not equal to L. So it is wrong, hence L must be equal to m, and this is what we wish to prove. Okay, so in next lecture we will see Archimedean property of real numbers and have a look at some examples. Thank you.